Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're enjoying our content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos. Now, let's dive into today's story. Welcome to our channel, we're thrilled to have you here. If you like what you see, please remember to give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe to stay updated on all our latest videos. Ready for today's adventure? Let's get started. Hello, wonderful viewers. We're glad you could join us. If our videos bring a smile to your face, please show your support by liking and subscribing. It means the world to us. Now, without further ado, onto the main event. Greetings, friends. Thanks for stopping by. In the heart of Rome, where cobblestone streets weave through the echoes of ancient whispers and the Tiber River sings its eternal lullaby, there exists a realm shrouded in mystery and reverence. The Vatican, a sovereign city-state, cloaked in the robes of history, stands as a monument to faith and the passage of time. Within its sacred walls lies a secret so profound, so guarded, that only a few have dared to speak its name aloud. The Forbidden Archives. Beneath the grandeur of St. Peter's Basilica, beyond the gilded halls and the solemn gaze of marble saints, there is a door. It is not marked by opulence but rather by an austere simplicity that belies its importance. A door that leads to the heart of the Vatican's most enigmatic collection, a labyrinth of knowledge, sealed away from prying eyes and curious minds. This is where our journey begins, on a cool autumn evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of amber and indigo. In the soft glow of twilight, a lone figure moved with purpose through the Vatican's shadowed corridors. Father Luca Moretti, a humble scholar and custodian of the archives, carried with him an air of quiet determination. His steps echoed softly against the polished marble floors, a rhythmic accompaniment to the beating of his heart, which seemed to quicken with each step closer to his destination. Luca was a man of deep contemplation, his life dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and the unraveling of mysteries buried in parchment and ink. Yet, even he had not been prepared for the secrets that had recently come to his attention, fragments of a forgotten manuscript, whispered about in the hushed corners of the Vatican Library. A manuscript said to hold truths that could reshape the understanding of history and faith itself. The air was cool and fragrant with the scent of ancient paper as he approached the unassuming door. It was crafted from dark oak, its surface worn smooth by the passage of time, devoid of any inscriptions or symbols that might hint at what lay beyond. Luca paused, his hand hovering over the handle, his mind a tempest of anticipation and trepidation. The key, a simple brass instrument, felt heavy in his pocket. It was a relic passed down through generations of archivists, a token of trust and responsibility. With a steady hand, he inserted it into the lock, the mechanism clicking softly in the silence of the corridor. The door swung open on well-oiled hinges, revealing the dimly lit chamber beyond. The Forbidden Archives were unlike any other place within the Vatican. The air here was thick with the weight of centuries, the very walls steeped in the knowledge of the ages. Shelves upon shelves stretched into the shadows, laden with tomes bound in leather and cloth, their spines cracked and faded. Dust motes danced in the slivers of light that pierced the gloom, casting an ethereal glow over the room. Luca stepped inside, his heart beating a solemn cadence. He felt as though he had crossed a threshold not just of space, but of time itself. The silence was profound, broken only by the soft rustle of his robes as he moved deeper into the archives. There was a sense of reverence here, a sacredness that demanded respect and caution. His fingers traced the spines of the books as he walked, each one a vessel of forgotten stories and hidden truths. Some were written in tongues long extinct, their secrets locked away in cryptic symbols and elegant script. Others bore the scars of fire and decay, their pages brittle and fragile as autumn leaves. It was in this realm of shadows and secrets that Luca sought the manuscript whispered of in hushed tones. A document said to be hidden within the archives, its existence known only to a select few. He had spent months piecing together clues, following a trail of obscure references and cryptic footnotes that led him to this moment. As he ventured deeper, the air grew cooler, the light dimmer. Here, in the farthest reaches of the archives, the shelves seemed to close in around him, forming a cocoon of knowledge and mystery. It was here that he felt the presence of the past most acutely, a palpable energy that stirred the very air. He paused before a shelf that seemed no different from any other, yet something about it called to him, a subtle pull, a whisper in the darkness. His hand moved almost of its own accord, reaching for a tome bound in deep burgundy leather, its spine embossed with faded gold lettering. With a gentle tug, he pulled it free, feeling the weight of it in his hands. The leather was cool and supple, the pages within whispering softly as he turned them. This was the manuscript of which the whispers spoke, the key to unraveling the secrets of the past. Luca carried the tome to a nearby reading table, its surface worn smooth by the hands of countless scholars who had come before him. He placed it down with reverence, the soft thud echoing in the silence. As he opened it, the scent of aged paper and ink filled the air, a perfume of history and time. The pages were illuminated with intricate illustrations, their colors still vibrant despite the years. The text, written in a flowing script, was in a language he recognized but had never seen in such a context. It was a dialect of Latin, yet older, more archaic, infused with nuances that spoke of a time long forgotten. As he began to read, the words seemed to come alive, weaving a tapestry of stories and revelations that transcended the boundaries of time. The manuscript spoke of events that had been hidden from the annals of history, tales of faith and betrayal, of visions and prophecies long suppressed. Luca felt a thrill of discovery, a sense of connection to the past that was both exhilarating and daunting. Here, in the quiet solitude of the archives, he held in his hands a piece of history that had the power to reshape the present. The manuscript's secrets unfolded before him, each revelation a step deeper into the enigma that was the Vatican's forbidden archives. Outside, the city of Rome lay bathed in the silvery glow of moonlight, a world unaware of the secrets being unveiled within the Vatican's sacred walls. And as Father Luca Moretti continued to read, the night stretched on, a tapestry of shadows and light, holding its breath in anticipation of the truths yet to be revealed. The air within the dimly lit chamber was thick with the scent of aged parchment and candle wax, a perfume of antiquity that wove its way into Luca's senses, anchoring him to the moment. Each page he turned whispered secrets of a world long past, the very fibers of the manuscript imbued with the essence of those who had once held it in reverent hands. The words danced before his eyes, an intricate ballet of ink and paper, as if the pages themselves were alive with the breath of the long departed. The narrative unfurled like a scroll of time, taking him to a distant age where empires rose and fell like the tides. He read of a clandestine council convened under the cover of night, where figures cloaked in shadow debated matters that teetered on the edge of heresy. Here were the unspoken truths of saints and sinners, their fates intertwined in a delicate balance maintained through secrecy and sacrifice. The manuscript revealed the existence of a prophecy, a foretelling so profound that it had been deemed too dangerous for the world to know. Luca's heart quickened as he deciphered the ancient script, his fingers tracing the ornate lettering with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The prophecy spoke of a time when the gates of the spiritual and the earthly would align, ushering in an era of great transformation, a vision of peace or peril, depending on the path chosen by mankind. As Luca delved deeper, the shadows around him seemed to pulse with a life of their own, as if the very walls of the archive were listening, absorbing the revelations that had been dormant for centuries. His mind raced with possibilities, each thought a spark illuminating the darkness of ignorance. He realized that these secrets, once brought to light, could alter the course of history, challenging the very foundations of belief and governance. Yet, with this knowledge came a sense of burden, a weight pressing upon his soul. The responsibility of deciding what to reveal, and what to keep hidden, loomed large. Luca understood that he was not merely an observer of history, but now a participant in its unfolding, a guardian of truths that could either liberate or destroy. In the silence of the archives, the boundaries between past and present seemed to blur, and Luca felt a presence beside him, a whisper of something beyond the tangible. It was as if the spirits of those who had once walked these hallowed halls were reaching out across time, guiding him toward a deeper understanding of the manuscript's significance. Outside, the night deepened, the moon a silent witness to the unfolding drama within the Vatican. The city of Rome lay in slumber, its ancient stones dreaming of glory and ruin, oblivious to the revelations being unearthed in its midst. The streets, usually bustling with life, now lay quiet under the watchful gaze of the stars, the cosmos itself a vast archive of mysteries awaiting discovery. Luca's mind drifted to thoughts of those who had come before him, men and women who had dedicated their lives to the pursuit of knowledge and truth, often at great personal cost. He wondered about their sacrifices, the choices they had made in the name of a higher calling. It was a lineage of seekers, bound by a shared purpose that transcended the passage of time. The candle flickered, casting a wavering glow upon the manuscript, as Luca's fingers traced the final passages of the prophecy. The words spoke of a choice, an impending decision that would determine the fate of nations. It was a crossroads, a moment when humanity would be called to reckon with its past and forge a new future. Luca felt a chill run down his spine, a premonition of the pivotal role he might play in the unfolding drama. As the first light of dawn began to seep through the narrow windows, painting the room in hues of gold and amber, Luca closed the manuscript with a sense of reverence and resolve. He knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, fraught with challenges and opposition. But he felt a deep conviction that the truth must be known, that the hidden stories and prophecies must be brought to light, no matter the cost. He gathered his notes, his mind awash with the revelations of the night, and prepared to leave the archives, his heart a turbulent mix of fear and hope. As he stepped into the corridor, the weight of the manuscript's secrets still heavy upon him, he paused for a moment, casting a final glance back at the chamber that had become a crucible of his transformation. In that moment, he understood that the path ahead was not one he would walk alone. The voices of the past, the wisdom of those who had come before, would be his guide. And as he emerged into the light of the new day, the city of Rome stirring to life around him, Luca felt a profound sense of purpose, a calling that would lead him into uncharted territories, where the past and future would converge in a tapestry of destiny yet to be woven. The sun had begun its gentle ascent over the ancient city, casting a golden hue upon the cobblestones of Rome, illuminating the world with a soft, ethereal light. As Luca emerged from the depths of the Vatican's labyrinthine corridors, the whispers of history still echoing in his ears, he felt as if he were stepping into a new realm, one where the weight of knowledge mingled with the crisp promise of a new day. The air was filled with the scent of blooming jasmine and freshly baked bread, a comforting reminder of the world outside the silent, shadowy confines of the archives. Yet, the secrets he carried with him were anything but comforting. They were alive, almost sentient in their urgency, tugging at his soul with a sense of duty and impending revelation. As he navigated the bustling streets, Luca was acutely aware of the dichotomy between the ordinary lives being lived around him and the extraordinary burden he bore. The market vendors shouted jovially, their voices a lively symphony of commerce and camaraderie, while the aromas of espresso and roasted chestnuts perfumed the air. Children laughed, chasing pigeons that fluttered up in a flurry of wings, their innocence a stark contrast to the gravity of the knowledge Luca held. He found himself wandering towards a secluded piazza, a tranquil haven amidst the city's vibrant pulse. There, beneath the shade of an ancient olive tree, he sat to gather his thoughts. The manuscript's revelations were a puzzle, a complex tapestry woven with threads of prophecy, conspiracy, and the divine. Each piece of information was a brushstroke in a painting so vast that its full image eluded him. Yet, he knew that understanding was not beyond his grasp. He simply needed to see the connections, to unravel the threads with patience and clarity. As he reflected, the gentle rustle of leaves above seemed to whisper secrets of their own, as if the very earth were in league with the hidden truths he sought to uncover. The passage of time felt fluid beneath the tree's ancient boughs, each moment a drop in the ocean of eternity. Luca closed his eyes, allowing his mind to drift back to the flickering candlelight of the archives, the scent of aged parchment, and the solemn presence of the words that had altered his course so profoundly. But his solitude was not to last. A shadow fell across him, and he looked up to find a figure standing before him. It was Elena, a fellow scholar and confidant, her eyes alight with curiosity and concern. She had been his ally in this journey, her intellect and insight invaluable in deciphering the cryptic messages hidden within the Vatican's forbidden tomes. "You look burdened, Luca," Elena said softly, her voice a balm against the morning's crispness. "What have you discovered?" Luca hesitated, the weight of his responsibility pressing heavy upon his chest. Yet, he knew he could trust her, knew that her strength and wisdom would be a beacon in the labyrinth of his uncertainties. "The manuscript," he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "It speaks of a prophecy, one that could alter the course of history. But it's veiled in allegory and metaphor, a riddle wrapped in enigma." Elena nodded, her expression pensive. "Then we must tread carefully. Such knowledge is both a gift and a curse. It demands discernment and courage." They spoke at length beneath the olive tree, their words a delicate dance between hope and caution, speculation and fact. Luca shared the fragments he had deciphered, the tantalizing glimpses of a future yet to unfold. Together, they pieced together the mosaic of the manuscript's secrets, their minds interwoven in a tapestry of shared purpose. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the piazza, they resolved to continue their quest, to delve deeper into the mysteries that lay hidden beneath layers of time and tradition. It was a path fraught with danger and uncertainty, yet they were united in their conviction that the truth must be brought to light, no matter the cost. Their journey took them to the quiet recesses of libraries and the echoing halls of ancient churches, places where the past lingered in the air like a silent witness. Each step was a dance with destiny, weaving through the fabric of history as they sought answers to questions that had long been shrouded in mystery. Yet, with each revelation came new challenges, new barriers erected by those who wished to keep the past hidden. There were whispers of watchers in the shadows, guardians of secrets who would stop at nothing to protect their sacred trust. Luca and Elena knew they were venturing into a realm where allies were few, and enemies lurked in the most unexpected places. Their days became a blur of discovery and evasion, each moment tinged with the thrill of the chase and the danger of exposure. The city itself seemed to conspire with them, its ancient stones echoing the footsteps of those who had walked this path before, seekers of truth and bearers of light. But the most profound discovery was not found in dusty books or hidden alcoves. It was the bond between Luca and Elena, forged in the crucible of their shared quest. They became more than colleagues. They were kindred spirits, united by a vision of a world where knowledge was not hoarded but shared, where the light of truth dispelled the shadows of ignorance and fear. In the quiet moments, when the world was still and the night held its breath, they would sit together, their thoughts a silent communion beneath the stars. The questions that haunted them were vast, yet they found solace in the knowledge that they were not alone, that their journey was a shared odyssey of discovery and revelation. And so they pressed on, driven by the promise of what lay beyond the veil, the hidden truths that awaited their unveiling. Their path was uncertain, their future unwritten, yet they walked it with courage and conviction, guided by the light of their shared purpose and the whispering voices of the past. As the church bells tolled and the city of Rome slumbered beneath a canopy of stars, Luca and Elena continued their quest, their footsteps a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unyielding spirit of those who dare to seek the truth, no matter the shadows that seek to obscure it. The cobbled streets of Rome stretched out before them, winding like ancient rivers through a city steeped in history and secrets. The air was cool and crisp, a gentle reminder of the autumn that had settled over the eternal city. Luca and Elena moved with quiet determination, their footsteps echoing softly in the night. The Vatican loomed ahead, its majestic silhouette a reminder of both the grandeur and the mysteries it held within. Their journey had led them here, to this moment, standing on the precipice of revelation. The moon cast a silvery glow upon the basilica, its light dancing upon the intricate carvings and statues that adorned its facade. The grandeur of the scene was not lost on them. It was as if the very stones whispered of the secrets they guarded, the tales of centuries past waiting to be told. As they approached the Vatican walls, the weight of history pressed down upon them. This was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the past and present coexisted in a delicate balance. The air was thick with anticipation, each breath a step closer to the truth that lay hidden within the forbidden archives. They paused at the entrance, the massive doors standing sentinel before them. These were not just doors of wood and iron, but gateways to a world few had ever seen. Elena felt her heart quicken, a mixture of excitement and trepidation coursing through her veins. Luca glanced at her, his eyes reflecting her own apprehension and resolve. Together, they would cross this threshold, leaving behind the familiar and stepping into the unknown. With a gentle push, the doors creaked open, revealing a dimly lit corridor that stretched out like a tunnel into the heart of the Vatican. The scent of old parchment and ink filled the air, mingling with the faint aroma of incense, creating an atmosphere both sacred and mysterious. Their footsteps were soft against the polished marble floors, a hushed reverence guiding their every move. As they delved deeper, the corridors branched and twisted, an intricate maze designed to confuse those who dared to enter uninvited. But Luca and Elena were not deterred. They had spent countless hours studying maps and accounts, piecing together the puzzle that would lead them to their destination. The walls around them seemed to breathe, the shadows shifting and flickering in the candlelight. It was as if the very building was alive, a living testament to the stories it held. They passed rooms filled with artifacts and relics, each one a silent guardian of the past. Statues of saints and angels watched over them, their stone eyes unseeing yet somehow aware. Finally, they reached a heavy wooden door, its surface adorned with intricate carvings that told tales of biblical proportions. This was it, the entrance to the forbidden archives. Elena's hand trembled slightly as she reached for the handle, her mind racing with the possibilities of what they might find. Luca placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his touch grounding her in the moment. They had come too far to turn back now. With a deep breath, Elena pushed the door open, revealing a room that seemed to stretch into infinity. Rows upon rows of shelves lined the walls, each one filled with ancient tomes and manuscripts, their spines worn with age. The air was thick with the weight of knowledge, the silent testimony of generations past. The room was bathed in a soft, golden light that seemed to emanate from the very pages themselves, illuminating the secrets they held. As they stepped inside, the door closed softly behind them, sealing them in a sanctuary of wisdom. The silence was profound, broken only by the gentle rustle of pages as they began their search. Each book they touched was a journey in itself, a portal to a world long forgotten. Elena's fingers traced the spines, her eyes scanning the titles written in Latin, Greek, and languages she could only guess at. There were books on theology, philosophy, science, and more, each one a piece of the puzzle they sought to unravel. She could feel the energy of the room, a pulsing current of knowledge and power that resonated with her very soul. Luca moved with the same reverence, his hands deftly selecting volumes that seemed to call to him. They worked in silence, their movements a dance of discovery as they uncovered the secrets hidden within the pages. Hours passed in a blur, the world outside forgotten as they delved deeper into the archives. They found manuscripts detailing ancient rituals, correspondence between popes and kings, and accounts of events long shrouded in mystery. Each discovery was a revelation, a glimpse into a world that had remained hidden for centuries. Yet, amidst the wealth of information, there was one document that caught Elena's eye. It was a simple leather-bound journal, its cover worn and unassuming. But as she opened it, she knew this was what they had been searching for, a first-hand account of a secret council held in the Vatican, a meeting that had shaped the course of history in ways few could have imagined. The words on the page seemed to come alive, painting a vivid picture of intrigue and conspiracy, of power struggles and hidden agendas. It was a story of ambition and betrayal, of alliances forged and broken in the shadows of the Vatican walls. As Elena read, she felt the weight of the truth settle upon her, a burden and a gift all at once. Luca joined her, his eyes scanning the pages with equal intensity. They read together, their minds weaving the threads of history into a tapestry of understanding. It was a moment of profound clarity, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place as they uncovered the truth that had been obscured for so long. But with the truth came a choice, a decision that would shape their future and the future of those who would come after. They could keep this knowledge hidden, a secret shared only between them, or they could bring it to light, risking everything for the sake of truth and justice. As they sat in the quiet of the archives, the weight of the decision pressed upon them. The room seemed to hold its breath, the silence a living thing that wrapped around them like a cloak. They were on the brink of something monumental, a moment that would define their journey and their legacy. Yet, in that silence, they found their answer. It was not just about uncovering the past but about shaping the future, about using the knowledge they had gained to bring about change and understanding. The truth was a light that could not be dimmed, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. With newfound resolve, they closed the journal and placed it gently back on the shelf. Their journey was far from over, but they had taken the first step toward a brighter tomorrow. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, guided by the light of truth and the courage to seek it. As they left the archives, the dawn began to break over the Vatican, painting the sky in hues of gold and rose. It was a new day, a new beginning, and with it came the promise of a world transformed by the power of knowledge and the enduring spirit of those who dared to seek it. The cobblestones of the Vatican streets whispered beneath their feet, each step resonating with the sacred history of the place. The air was cool and crisp, carrying with it the faint scent of ancient stone and the lingering incense of morning prayers. The city stirred gently awake, its heartbeat synchronizing with the rising sun, which cast long shadows that danced across the facades of buildings steeped in centuries of secrets. Elena and Marco paused at the edge of St. Peter's Square, their hearts still racing from the revelations inside the forbidden archives. The square, usually bustling with pilgrims and tourists, was serene at this early hour, a tranquil canvas painted with the light of dawn. The monumental basilica loomed majestically, its dome a silhouette against the pastel sky, a testament to the enduring faith and artistry that had shaped its creation. They stood in silence, absorbing the profound stillness of the moment. It was as if the entire city was holding its breath, waiting for the secrets they had uncovered to ripple outward, touching lives and changing destinies. Elena could feel the weight of history pressing down on her, a tangible force that both grounded and elevated her. Marco, sensing her thoughts, gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. "We have the truth on our side now," he murmured, his voice barely more than a whisper. "And with it, the power to ignite change." Elena nodded, her resolve hardening. She knew that their discovery was only the beginning. The journal's revelations were a key, a gateway to understanding a past rife with intrigue and mystery. Yet, the true challenge lay ahead: how to bring these truths to light in a world that often preferred the comfort of ignorance to the discomfort of enlightenment. As they walked through the square, the first rays of sunlight kissed the obelisk at its center, casting a long shadow that pointed like an accusing finger towards the horizon. It was a symbol, Elena thought, of the journey they had embarked upon, a path illuminated by truth but fraught with obstacles and opposition. The streets of Rome slowly came alive as they made their way through its labyrinthine alleys. The city's ancient soul whispered to them from every corner, its stories woven into the fabric of its stones and the murmurs of its fountains. The Tiber River flowed nearby, its waters glinting in the morning light, a ribbon of silver that wound through the heart of the city like a lifeline. Their destination was a modest apartment tucked away in a quiet neighborhood, a sanctuary where they could gather their thoughts and plan their next steps. The room was filled with the soft glow of the morning sun filtering through lace curtains, casting intricate patterns on the worn wooden floors. Books lined every wall, their spines a colorful mosaic of knowledge and history. As they settled in, the weight of their mission pressed upon them once more, a reminder that the truth they held was both a gift and a burden. The world outside seemed unchanged, yet Elena knew that beneath the surface, the currents of destiny were shifting, propelled by the revelations they had uncovered. They spent the day poring over the journal, deciphering its secrets and connecting its threads to the wider tapestry of history. The pages were a treasure trove of insights, each entry a glimpse into a hidden world of power, politics, and faith. The Vatican's forbidden archives had long been a source of speculation and myth, a vault of untold knowledge guarded by layers of secrecy and tradition. Yet now, the veil had been lifted, and with it, the possibility of a new understanding, one that could challenge the narratives that had shaped the world for centuries. As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm, golden glow over the city, Elena and Marco knew it was time to take the next step. The journey ahead would not be easy, but they were driven by a purpose greater than themselves. They had seen the light of truth, and they could not turn back into the shadows. Their first task was to find allies, those who would stand with them in the face of opposition and help bring their findings to a larger audience. The world was hungry for truth, even if it didn't always know it, and they were determined to feed that hunger with knowledge and understanding. They reached out discreetly to trusted friends and colleagues, weaving a network of confidants who shared their vision and understood the importance of their mission. It was a delicate dance, balancing the need for secrecy with the urgency of their cause, but they moved with the grace and precision of those who understood the stakes. As evening descended over Rome, they found themselves standing on a rooftop terrace, overlooking the city bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The stars began to pierce the deepening sky, tiny points of light that mirrored the hope in their hearts. "It feels like the calm before the storm," Marco said, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the last vestiges of daylight clung stubbornly to the sky. Elena nodded, her thoughts swirling with possibilities and plans. "But storms bring change," she replied, her voice steady. "And change is what we need." They stood side by side, united by a shared purpose and a bond forged in the crucible of discovery. Below them, the city continued its eternal rhythm, a symphony of life and history that played on, indifferent to the secrets they had unearthed. Yet, Elena knew that their actions would send ripples through this ancient place, touching lives in ways they could not yet imagine. The truth was a powerful force, and once unleashed, it could not be contained. With a final glance at the starlit sky, they turned away from the view, ready to face the challenges that awaited them. The night was young, and there was much to do. Their journey was far from over, but they were not alone. They had each other, and they had the truth. And above all, they had the courage to seek it. As the night unfolded its velvet canopy over Rome, casting a serene glow over the cobbled streets and time-worn edifices, Elena and Marco found themselves enveloped in a tapestry of shadows and whispers. The Vatican loomed in the distance, its ancient walls concealing the secrets they were determined to unveil. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and the distant murmur of the Tiber, a silent witness to the centuries of history that had flowed through this eternal city. Their steps were deliberate, yet light, as they navigated the narrow alleys leading to the Vatican. The path was familiar, etched into their memories from countless clandestine visits, each one bringing them closer to the heart of the mystery they sought to unravel. The forbidden archives, the mere thought sent a shiver down Elena's spine, a mixture of fear and anticipation. It was a place few dared to speak of, a repository of knowledge and power, guarded by the church with fervent zeal. As they approached the gates, Marco paused, his eyes scanning the surroundings with a practiced vigilance. "The guards will change shifts soon," he murmured, his voice barely a whisper against the symphony of the night. "We have a small window." Elena nodded, her pulse quickening. This was their moment, a sliver of opportunity in the grand scheme of their audacious plan. They moved with purpose, slipping through the shadows like phantoms, their presence masked by the cloak of darkness. The heavy gate creaked open with a reluctant groan, a sound that seemed to echo through the ages. Inside, the corridors of the Vatican were hushed, the silence profound and sacred. Elena felt the weight of history pressing in on her, a tangible presence that both comforted and intimidated. The walls were adorned with frescoes and tapestries, each a testament to the grandeur and opulence of a bygone era. They were in the heart of the church, the epicenter of faith and power. Their destination lay beneath the hallowed halls, in the catacombs that stretched like a labyrinth beneath the Vatican. It was said that within these subterranean chambers lay the forbidden archives, a collection of texts and artifacts deemed too dangerous for the light of day. Elena's imagination raced, conjuring images of dusty tomes and gilded relics, each one a piece of the puzzle they sought to assemble. Marco led the way with a confidence born of experience, his footsteps echoing softly against the stone floor. The passageways twisted and turned, descending deeper into the earth, the air growing cooler and more oppressive. Elena's heart thrummed in her chest, a steady drumbeat that matched the rhythm of their journey. At last, they reached a heavy wooden door, its surface worn and weathered by time. Marco hesitated, his hand resting on the iron latch. He turned to Elena, his eyes meeting hers in a silent communion of trust and determination. Together, they pushed the door open, revealing the chamber beyond, a cavernous space filled with shelves and cabinets, each one brimming with the forgotten and the forbidden. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of aged parchment and incense. Elena felt a thrill of excitement, tempered by the awareness of the enormity of their task. Here, in this hidden sanctum, lay the answers they had been seeking, the truths that had been buried beneath layers of secrecy and tradition. They moved with purpose, their fingers brushing over the spines of ancient volumes, the leather cracked and supple beneath their touch. Each book was a testament to the knowledge amassed over centuries, a legacy of wisdom and power. Elena's fingers trembled as she selected a tome, the weight of it solid and reassuring in her hands. As they delved into the texts, the hours slipped away, the passage of time marked only by the flickering of the candlelight. The words, penned by hands long since turned to dust, spoke of prophecies and revelations, of truths that transcended the confines of faith and dogma. Elena felt a sense of awe and reverence, her mind expanding with each new discovery. Yet, amidst the revelations, there was also a sense of foreboding, a reminder that the knowledge they sought came with a cost. The church had guarded these secrets for a reason, and their uncovering would not go unnoticed. Elena knew that they were treading a fine line, balancing on the edge of a precipice that could alter the course of history. As dawn approached, a pale light filtering through the narrow windows, they knew that it was time to leave. The secrets they had unearthed were but a fraction of the knowledge contained within the archives, but it was enough to ignite a spark of change. Elena felt a sense of purpose, a clarity of vision that fueled her resolve. They retraced their steps, emerging into the cool morning air with a sense of accomplishment tempered by the weight of responsibility. The city was waking, the streets coming alive with the bustle of daily life. Yet, beneath the surface, currents of change were stirring, set in motion by the truths they had uncovered. As they parted ways, Elena felt a lingering connection to Marco, a bond forged in the crucible of their shared journey. She knew that their paths would cross again, drawn together by the forces they had set in motion. The secrets of the Vatican were no longer hidden, and the world would never be the same. With the rising sun casting golden light over the city, Elena walked away, her heart filled with a sense of purpose and possibility. The journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The truth was a powerful force, and she was determined to see it through to the end. Elena moved through the cobbled streets of Rome, the ancient city unfolding around her with a timeless grace. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of freshly baked bread and the distant hum of morning prayers from a nearby chapel. Each step resonated with the echo of history, a symphony of past and present that played through the narrow alleys and grand piazzas. The Vatican's secrets had been like whispers in the wind, elusive and intangible, but now they were taking form, solidifying into something that could no longer be ignored. Elena walked with a newfound determination, her mind a tapestry of thoughts interwoven with the threads of revelation and the shadows of uncertainty. Her journey had just begun, and with each stride, she felt the weight of her mission, a responsibility to unravel the mysteries hidden deep within the heart of the Holy See. The morning light danced across the Tiber River, casting shimmering reflections that seemed to beckon Elena toward a destiny unknown. She crossed the Ponte Sant'Angelo, its statues standing sentinel like silent guardians of secrets untold. As she walked, her thoughts drifted back to Marco, his presence still tangible despite the distance that now separated them. Their shared experiences had created an unspoken bond, a connection that transcended the ordinary. Elena's path led her to a small cafe nestled in a quiet corner of the city. The aroma of espresso mingled with the chatter of patrons, creating a cocoon of warmth and familiarity. She ordered a cappuccino, savoring the rich, velvety texture as it enveloped her senses. The cafe was a haven of tranquility, a brief respite from the whirlwind of revelations that had consumed her life. As she sat by the window, watching the world pass by, Elena's thoughts turned to the forbidden archives. The secrets they contained were like a labyrinth, each twist and turn revealing glimpses of a truth long buried. She knew that the path ahead would not be easy, that the forces guarding these secrets would not relinquish them without a fight. Yet, she felt a quiet confidence, a certainty that she was meant to walk this path. The cafe door opened with a gentle chime, and a figure stepped inside, their presence drawing Elena's attention. It was a man, his features obscured by the shadow of a wide-brimmed hat, but there was something familiar in the way he moved. He approached her table with a subtle grace, and as he removed his hat, Elena's heart skipped a beat. It was Marco. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice a soothing melody amidst the morning's symphony. Elena gestured to the empty seat, a smile playing on her lips. "I thought you'd be halfway across the city by now." Marco settled into the chair, his eyes meeting hers with a warmth that chased away the morning chill. "I couldn't leave without seeing you again. There's something we need to discuss." A pang of curiosity mingled with the flutter of anticipation in Elena's chest. "What's on your mind?" Marco leaned forward, his expression earnest. "The documents we found, they're just the beginning. There's more, much more, buried beneath layers of deception. We need to dig deeper." Elena nodded, the gravity of their task settling over her like a shroud. "I felt it too. The archives hold answers, but they're guarded by veils of secrecy." Marco's gaze was steady, unwavering. "I've been in contact with someone who can help us. An historian, someone who knows the Vatican's history better than anyone. She's agreed to meet with us." The promise of an ally, a guide through the labyrinth of hidden truths, ignited a spark of hope within Elena. "When can we meet her?" "Tomorrow," Marco replied. "She'll be at the Biblioteca Apostolica Vaticana. It's risky, but it's our best chance." The mention of the Vatican Library sent a shiver down Elena's spine. It was a place of reverence and mystery, a repository of knowledge guarded by the walls of tradition and authority. Yet, it also held the key to unlocking the secrets they sought. As the conversation flowed, their words weaving a tapestry of plans and possibilities, Elena felt the weight of their mission once more. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but she was not alone. Marco's presence was a beacon, a reminder that they were bound together by a shared purpose. The morning stretched into afternoon, the sun painting the sky with hues of amber and gold. As they prepared to leave the cafe, Elena felt a renewed sense of resolve. The journey was far from over, and the secrets of the Vatican awaited, cloaked in shadows and whispers. They stepped into the bustling streets, the city alive with the pulse of life. Together, they would uncover the truth, unravel the mysteries that had been hidden for centuries. The road ahead was uncertain, but Elena knew that with Marco by her side, she could face whatever lay in wait. The following day dawned with a gentle light, the sun casting a warm glow over the city. Elena and Marco made their way to the Vatican, the anticipation of the meeting with the historian a constant undercurrent. The streets were a tapestry of movement and sound, the rhythm of Rome a steady heartbeat in the background. As they approached the Biblioteca Apostolica Vaticana, the grandeur of the architecture was a testament to centuries of knowledge and power. The library stood as a monument to the past, its walls echoing with the whispers of history. They entered, the cool air and the scent of aged parchment enveloping them like a familiar embrace. Their contact awaited them in a secluded corner, her presence a calm amidst the storm of intrigue. She was a woman of wisdom, her eyes reflecting the depth of her knowledge. Introductions were made, and Elena felt a sense of trust, a belief that this woman held the keys to the answers they sought. The historian spoke of the archives, her words painting a picture of hidden chambers and forbidden texts. She described secret passages and ancient scripts, the very essence of the Vatican's clandestine heart. Her voice was a guide, leading them through the labyrinth of history with a deft hand. As they delved deeper into the narrative, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The secrets of the Vatican were not just relics of the past, they were threads that wove through the fabric of the present, influencing events and shaping destinies. Elena felt the gravity of their mission, the knowledge that they were on the cusp of something monumental. The meeting concluded, the historian's insights a beacon lighting their way. As they left the library, Elena felt a renewed sense of purpose, a clarity of vision that fortified her resolve. The journey was fraught with peril, but the truth was a force that could not be silenced. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the city, Elena and Marco walked together, their steps in harmony with the rhythm of their hearts. The path was uncertain, but they were united in their quest to unveil the secrets of the Vatican. The world was changing, and they were at the forefront of a new dawn, a revelation that would echo through the corridors of time. With each step, Elena felt the weight of history and the promise of the future, a tapestry woven with the threads of truth and courage. The air was thick with anticipation as Elena and Marco traversed the cobblestone streets of Rome, their thoughts resonating with the history that surrounded them. The city, a living museum of ancient whispers and timeless grandeur, seemed to cradle their mission in its eternal embrace. The night sky, an indigo canvas sprinkled with stars, stretched endlessly above them, a reminder of the infinite mysteries that lay ahead. As they approached the Vatican walls, the majesty of St. Peter's Basilica loomed ahead, its dome an ethereal silhouette against the night. The structure seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, a celestial guardian of the secrets they sought to uncover. The air was cool and fragrant with the scent of jasmine, a sweet lullaby that momentarily eased their apprehensions. Elena paused, her eyes drawn to the intricate architecture that spoke of centuries of devotion and power. She could feel the heartbeat of the Vatican, a rhythm that thrummed with the weight of untold stories. Marco stood beside her, his presence a steadfast anchor in the swirling eddies of uncertainty. They exchanged a glance, a silent vow of solidarity and determination. Their destination lay beneath the hallowed ground, where the forbidden archives whispered of truths long buried. The archives were shrouded in mystery, a labyrinthine repository of knowledge guarded by time and tradition. Access was strictly controlled, and only a select few had ever dared to venture into its depths. Yet, Elena and Marco possessed a rare gift, an unwavering belief in the power of truth to illuminate even the darkest shadows. As they approached the entrance, the massive doors loomed like sentinels, daunting yet inviting. Marco produced a key, an ancient artifact that seemed almost alive in his hand. The metal was cool and smooth, etched with symbols that spoke of protection and secrecy. With a deep breath, he turned the key in the lock. The door swung open with a slow, deliberate creak, revealing a dimly lit corridor that stretched into the unknown. The air inside was cool and still, carrying the scent of parchment and history. Elena felt a shiver run down her spine, a thrill of excitement mingled with trepidation. This was a place where time stood still, where the past and present converged in a delicate dance of revelation. They stepped inside, the door closing softly behind them, sealing them in a world forgotten by time. The corridor led them deeper into the heart of the Vatican, the walls lined with shelves that groaned under the weight of ancient tomes and scrolls. The flickering light of candles cast dancing shadows that seemed to breathe life into the silent sentinels of knowledge. As they walked, Elena could feel the presence of those who had come before them, seekers of truth who had dared to challenge the status quo. The air was charged with their legacy, a palpable reminder of the courage it took to pursue understanding in the face of adversity. Their footsteps echoed softly, a haunting melody in the silence. Marco led the way with a quiet confidence, his every movement a testament to their shared purpose. Elena followed, her senses attuned to the whispers of the archives, the soft rustle of pages that seemed to call her name. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, its vaulted ceiling soaring high above them. The room was a cathedral of knowledge, its walls adorned with frescoes that depicted scenes of creation and enlightenment. In the center stood a long table, its surface covered with manuscripts and artifacts that spoke of civilizations long past. Elena approached the table, her fingers brushing lightly over the ancient vellum, the texture a tangible connection to the souls who had poured their wisdom into these pages. Each document was a testament to the human spirit, a chronicle of triumphs and trials that transcended the confines of time. Marco joined her, his eyes scanning the texts with a scholar's keen gaze. Together, they began to explore the secrets held within, unraveling the threads of history that had been woven into the fabric of the Vatican. The documents spoke of lost cultures and hidden knowledge, of prophecies and revelations that had been suppressed for centuries. As they worked, a sense of wonder enveloped them, a realization that they were not just uncovering the past, but shaping the future. The truth they sought was not an end, but a beginning, a beacon of hope that would guide humanity toward a new dawn of understanding. Hours passed unnoticed, the passage of time marked only by the soft rustle of pages and the flickering light of candles. Their world had narrowed to the confines of the chamber, a sanctuary of discovery where the outside world ceased to exist. Elena felt a deep sense of connection to the texts, a resonance that transcended the barriers of language and time. She could feel the pulse of the words, a living tapestry that intertwined with her own story. Each revelation was a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, a delicate web of fate and choice that bound them to the past and the future. As the night wore on, they unearthed a particularly intriguing manuscript, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and illustrations. It spoke of a secret society, a group of visionaries who had guarded the truth for generations. Their mission was to safeguard humanity from the perils of ignorance, to illuminate the darkness with the light of knowledge. Elena felt a thrill of anticipation as she deciphered the symbols, her mind racing with the implications of their discovery. This was what they had been searching for, the key to unlocking the mysteries that lay hidden within the Vatican's walls. The manuscript spoke of a prophecy, a vision of a world transformed by the power of truth. It foretold a time when the veil of secrecy would be lifted, when the light of understanding would banish the shadows of fear and doubt. As Elena read, she felt a profound sense of purpose, a calling that resonated deep within her soul. This was their destiny, to be the torchbearers of enlightenment, to guide humanity toward a future of hope and possibility. Marco, too, was captivated by the manuscript, his eyes alight with the fire of discovery. Together, they felt the weight of their mission, the responsibility that came with the knowledge they had uncovered. It was a burden they bore willingly, for the promise of the future was worth the trials of the present. As the first light of dawn crept through the high windows, they knew that their journey had only just begun. The Vatican's forbidden archives had revealed their secrets, but the path ahead was fraught with challenges and uncertainties. Yet, they were undeterred, for they carried with them the light of truth, a beacon that would guide them through the darkest of times. With renewed resolve, Elena and Marco prepared to leave the chamber, their hearts full of hope and determination. The world awaited their revelation, a new chapter in the story of humanity poised to unfold. As they stepped into the light of a new day, they knew that the secrets of the Vatican would soon be unveiled, and the echoes of their journey would resonate through the ages. As they ascended from the depths of the Vatican's labyrinthine corridors, the air seemed to shimmer with the promise of dawn. Every footfall echoed softly in the hallowed silence, a testament to the sacred ground they traversed. Elena and Marco walked side by side, their steps synchronized in an unspoken bond forged through shared discovery and quiet determination. The corridors, lined with ancient tapestries and flickering candle sconces, whispered tales of centuries past. The air was tinged with the scent of aged parchment and incense, a fragrant reminder of the enduring history that surrounded them. Each painting, each statue, seemed to watch them with silent approval, as if the very walls acknowledged the gravity of their mission. They emerged into the courtyard just as the first rays of sunlight painted the sky in hues of amber and rose. The morning air was crisp and gentle, enfolding them in its embrace. Marco paused to take a deep breath, savoring the momentary peace before the world would clamor for answers. Elena, too, closed her eyes briefly, allowing the warmth of the sun to seep into her skin, recharging her spirit for the trials ahead. Their journey through the Vatican had not been without its perils. The forbidden archives, with their labyrinth of secrets, had demanded a toll of both mind and soul. But now, standing on the cusp of revelation, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. The knowledge they carried was a blazing torch, illuminating paths that had been shrouded in darkness for too long. As they made their way to the entrance, the gentle murmur of the city awakening around them provided a comforting backdrop. The cobblestones beneath their feet were cool and familiar, each step a reminder of the world outside the sacred confines of the Vatican. Rome, with its eternal beauty and chaos, awaited them, a city of whispers and intrigue, ready to be both ally and adversary in their quest for truth. Elena glanced at Marco, her eyes reflecting a kaleidoscope of emotions, anticipation, hope, and a trace of fear. "Do you think they'll listen?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if the city itself might overhear their plans. Marco nodded, his expression one of quiet certainty. "They will listen, Elena. And when they do, they will understand the importance of what we have discovered." His words were a balm, soothing her anxieties, and she found herself believing in their mission with renewed vigor. Their path led them to a narrow street, where the sounds of daily life began to unfold. A vendor setting up a stall, a bicyclist weaving through the morning traffic, the soft chatter of pedestrians, all seemed to welcome them back to the world of the living. The ordinary, they realized, was now imbued with extraordinary potential. Every face they passed held the promise of change, the possibility of a future shaped by the truths they carried. The sun climbed higher, casting long shadows that danced across the ancient facades of the city. Elena and Marco moved with purpose, their destination clear, a small cafe tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. It was a place they had chosen for its seclusion, a sanctuary where they could gather their thoughts and prepare for the next steps of their journey. The cafe was a haven of warmth and aroma, the rich scent of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the sweetness of pastries. They settled at a table near the window, where the morning light streamed in, illuminating the pages of notes and documents they spread before them. The world outside bustled with life, but within the cozy confines of the cafe, time seemed to slow, allowing them a moment of reflection. As they sipped their coffee, Elena and Marco delved into the intricacies of their findings, piecing together the vast tapestry of knowledge they had uncovered. The documents, though ancient, were a testament to the foresight of those who had recorded them. Prophecies, teachings, forgotten histories, all woven together to form a narrative that challenged the very foundations of accepted belief. Their conversation was a dance of intellect and intuition, each contributing insights that propelled their understanding forward. Elena, with her keen analytical mind, unraveled the complexities of the texts, while Marco, with his deep empathy, connected the dots to the human stories within. Together, they formed a formidable partnership, their synergy a force that drove them ever onward. Outside, the city continued its rhythmic pulse, a living organism of history and modernity intertwined. Yet, within the cafe, the world felt suspended in a delicate balance, a pause before the inevitable storm of revelation. The air was charged with anticipation, as if the very universe held its breath, waiting for the moment when truth would emerge from the shadows. As the hours slipped by, Elena and Marco crafted a plan, a roadmap for unveiling the secrets they held. They knew the path would not be easy, that opposition awaited them at every turn. Yet, they were undaunted, for their purpose was clear: to share the light of discovery with a world that desperately needed it. The afternoon sun cast a golden glow across the city, and with it came a renewed sense of urgency. It was time to step out of the sanctuary of the cafe and into the world beyond, to face the challenges that lay ahead with courage and conviction. They gathered their notes, carefully tucking them away, and prepared to leave. As they stood, Elena felt a surge of emotion, a mixture of excitement and trepidation. She turned to Marco, her voice steady despite the storm within. "Are you ready for this?" she asked, her eyes searching his for affirmation. Marco met her gaze with unwavering resolve. "I am ready, Elena. Whatever comes, we will face it together." His words were a promise, a vow that echoed in the space between them, binding their destinies inextricably. Together, they stepped out into the world, their hearts beating in unison with the rhythm of the city. The Vatican's secrets were theirs to share, and as they moved forward, they carried with them the hopes of generations past and future. A torchbearer of truth, illuminating the path for all who would follow. As they walked, their footsteps faded into the symphony of life around them, a melody of possibility and change. The journey ahead was uncertain and fraught with challenges, but they embraced it with open hearts and unwavering determination. In the heart of Rome, amidst the echoes of history, Elena and Marco prepared to unveil the secrets of the Vatican, a revelation that would ripple through time, leaving an indelible mark on the tapestry of humanity. The streets of Rome sprawled before them like a living tapestry, woven with threads of antiquity and whispers of untold stories. Cobblestones, polished by centuries of footsteps, seemed to hum beneath their feet as if aware of the gravity of their purpose. The air was thick with the scent of blooming jasmine and aged stone, a heady blend that clung to the senses and urged them onward. Elena and Marco moved with a quiet urgency, their pace a measured dance through the labyrinthine alleys. Each turn brought them deeper into the heart of the city, where the past and present coalesced into a singular entity. The Vatican loomed in the distance, a solemn guardian of secrets hidden within its ancient walls. Its silhouette was both a promise and a challenge, a reminder of the task that lay before them. As they navigated the bustling streets, the city seemed to lean in, its buildings curving ever so slightly as if eavesdropping on their whispered plans. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm, golden glow that bathed the city in a serene luminescence. It was an hour of quiet transition, when day surrendered gracefully to night, and the world held its breath in anticipation. Their path led them to an unassuming cafe nestled between towering structures, its charm understated yet inviting. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the laughter and chatter of patrons. It was a place of respite, a haven where time seemed to slow, allowing moments to linger and stretch beyond their limits. Inside, the warmth enveloped them, a cocoon of comforting familiarity. They found a corner table, secluded yet not isolated, where they could speak freely without fear of prying ears. As they settled into their seats, the world outside continued its symphony, a backdrop to their unfolding narrative. Elena leaned forward, her voice a soft murmur. "Our next step must be careful, Marco. We are treading on sacred ground, and the consequences of our actions will ripple far beyond us." Marco nodded, his expression one of quiet contemplation. "We must find a way into the archives. The answers we seek are hidden there, locked away from the eyes of the world." But we must proceed with caution. The Vatican guards its secrets jealously. The weight of their endeavor settled heavily upon them, a tangible thing that wrapped around their shoulders like a cloak. Yet beneath the gravity of their mission lay a thread of exhilaration, a thrill that quickened their pulses and sharpened their senses. They were on the precipice of discovery, and the journey itself was as compelling as the destination. As they sipped their coffee, the rich, dark liquid served as a balm for their spirits, fortifying them for the challenges to come. They spoke in hushed tones, their conversation a dance of strategy and anticipation. Each word was a step toward the unknown, a deliberate act of defiance against the shadows that sought to keep them in ignorance. The cafe's atmosphere shifted subtly as the evening wore on, the light mellowing to a soft glow that embraced the patrons in a gentle embrace. Outside, the city pulsed with life, its heartbeat a steady thrum that underscored the symphony of human existence. It was a world of contrasts, of light and shadow, where the mundane and the extraordinary coexisted in perfect harmony. When they finally rose to leave, the air was cooler, carrying with it the promise of nightfall. The city had transformed, donning a cloak of twilight that blurred the edges of reality and dreams. Street lamps flickered to life, casting pools of golden light that danced across the cobblestones like specters of the past. Their footsteps echoed softly as they resumed their journey, the path ahead illuminated by the glow of their resolve. The Vatican awaited, its secrets nestled deep within the hallowed corridors of the archives. It was a fortress of knowledge, a repository of history that held the power to reshape the world as they knew it. As they drew closer, the grandeur of the Vatican unfurled before them, its imposing facade both awe-inspiring and humbling. The enormity of their task settled over them once more, a reminder of the responsibility they carried. Yet fear did not deter them. Rather, it fueled their determination, igniting a fire that burned brightly in the depths of their souls. The entrance to the archives was unassuming, a simple door set into the stone, its presence easily overlooked by the unobservant. Yet to Elena and Marco, it was a threshold, a portal that stood between them and the culmination of their quest. They exchanged a glance, a silent affirmation of their shared purpose, before stepping forward into the unknown. Inside, the air was cool and still, suffused with the scent of aged parchment and polished wood. The archives were a labyrinth of knowledge, rows upon rows of shelves stretching into shadowed corners, each one a guardian of stories long forgotten. It was a place of reverence, where the past whispered its secrets to those willing to listen. Their footsteps were muffled by the thick carpet that lined the floor, a silent procession through the corridors of history. The weight of the centuries pressed down upon them, a palpable presence that seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. Here, in the heart of the Vatican, time itself felt suspended, a fleeting illusion that bent to the will of those who sought its truths. As they navigated the aisles, their eyes scanned the spines of countless volumes, each one a potential key to the mysteries they sought to unravel. The task was daunting, yet their resolve remained unshaken. They were guided by intuition and the faint echoes of those who had walked these paths before, a lineage of seekers bound by a common quest for understanding. Their search led them deeper into the archives, where the light dimmed and the air grew thicker with the weight of secrets. Here, in the shadowed recesses, the true heart of the Vatican's knowledge lay hidden, protected by layers of silence and time. Elena paused, her gaze drawn to a particular section, its contents obscured by the shadows. Something called to her, a whisper on the edge of her consciousness, urging her forward. She reached out, her fingers brushing against the cool, leather-bound spine of a tome that seemed to pulse beneath her touch. Marco joined her, his presence a steady anchor in the sea of uncertainty. Together, they pulled the volume from its resting place, the weight of it settling in their hands like a promise. The cover bore no title, its surface smooth and unmarked, a testament to the secrets contained within. As they opened the book, the world around them faded into obscurity, leaving only the two of them and the pages that lay between. The words unfolded like a tapestry, rich with meaning and possibility, a revelation that would change everything. In that moment, the secrets of the Vatican were theirs to uncover, a truth that would ripple through the fabric of time, altering the course of history. And as they stood together in the heart of the archives, they knew that their journey had only just begun, a path that would lead them into the very heart of the unknown, where the past and future danced in a delicate balance, waiting to be unveiled. The air around them seemed to thicken with anticipation, each breath a heady elixir of dust and history. Marco's eyes met Isabella's, a silent pact forming between them, an unspoken agreement to tread carefully in the shadowed corridors of the past they had just unlocked. The pages of the book whispered secrets, the language archaic yet familiar, weaving stories that transcended the boundaries of time. The first page was adorned with intricate illustrations, depictions of celestial bodies intertwined with symbols that spoke of ancient knowledge. Isabella traced a finger over the delicate ink, feeling the artistry embedded in each line, the care of a scribe long forgotten. The words, penned in Latin, glowed with an otherworldly luminescence, as if the book itself was alive, urging them to delve deeper. "Look at this," Marco murmured, tapping a passage that seemed to shimmer beneath his touch. The script spoke of prophecies, of a hidden lineage entwined with the fate of empires. Isabella's heart quickened, her mind racing to comprehend the implications. Could it be that the very foundations of their world were built upon these forgotten truths? As they turned the pages, a narrative unfolded that was both captivating and unsettling. The book spoke of a clandestine order, guardians of knowledge too powerful for the uninitiated. Their existence was a carefully guarded secret, their influence stretching across continents and centuries, shaping the destiny of nations from the shadows. The tale of the order was interwoven with legends of a fabled artifact, a relic said to possess the power to alter destiny itself. It was this artifact, the text suggested, that had been hidden within the deepest vaults of the Vatican, protected by layers of deception and silence. The realization struck them with the force of a revelation. They were not merely reading a historical account, but a guide, a map leading them to the heart of an enigma that had eluded the world for centuries. "Do you think it's real?" Isabella's voice was a hushed whisper, her eyes wide with wonder. Marco nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the pages. "If what we're reading is true, then this changes everything. It could redefine history as we know it." Their fingers brushed as they turned another page, the contact grounding them in the present even as their minds soared through the possibilities. The scent of aged parchment enveloped them, a comforting reminder of the tangible world amidst the intangible mysteries they were unearthing. The next section of the book detailed rituals and incantations, ancient rites performed by the order to safeguard their secrets. The illustrations were vivid, capturing the solemnity of ceremonies held under moonlit skies. Isabella could almost hear the chants, feel the heat of torches burning in the night, the air thick with incense and anticipation. Yet, as they delved deeper, a sense of unease crept in, as if the book itself was warning them of the dangers that lay ahead. The prose turned darker, recounting tales of betrayal and sacrifice, of those who had sought the artifact's power for their own gain, only to be consumed by forces they could not control. Marco's hand found Isabella's, a silent reassurance in the dim light of the archive. "We have to be careful," he cautioned, his voice barely above a whisper. "This isn't just a story. It's a warning." She nodded, her resolve hardening. They were standing on the precipice of a discovery that could reshape the world, but the path was fraught with peril. To uncover the truth, they would have to navigate a labyrinth of deception, where every step could lead to revelation or ruin. The final pages of the book offered cryptic clues, fragments of a puzzle that seemed to beckon them onward. A map, sketched in faded ink, depicted the Vatican's hidden chambers, a subterranean maze that twisted and turned beneath the city's ancient streets. There, the text promised, lay the answers they sought, the culmination of their quest. But the path was not without its guardians. Warnings of traps and illusions, designed to deter the unworthy, were woven into the text, a reminder that the secrets of the Vatican were not meant for just anyone. Isabella closed the book gently, the weight of it still palpable in her hands. "We have to go," she said, determination lacing her voice. "We have to find out if this is real." Marco's eyes held a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "It's a risk," he acknowledged, "but one worth taking." Together, they left the sanctuary of the archives, their footsteps echoing softly in the silence. The corridors of the Vatican loomed around them, the weight of centuries pressing in on all sides. Yet, they moved with purpose, guided by the knowledge they had unearthed, their path illuminated by the promise of discovery. As they descended deeper into the heart of the Vatican, the air grew cooler, the shadows lengthening in the dim light. The walls seemed to close in, the ancient stones whispering secrets of their own. Isabella felt a thrill of anticipation, her senses heightened by the knowledge that lay within reach. They paused at a heavy door, its surface adorned with symbols that matched those in the book. Marco glanced at Isabella, his expression a mirror of her own resolve. With a deep breath, they pushed the door open, stepping into the unknown. The chamber beyond was vast, a cavernous expanse that seemed to defy the confines of the Vatican above. Torches flickered in sconces along the walls, casting an ethereal glow that danced across the room. At its center stood an altar, upon which rested a chest, its surface engraved with intricate patterns that shimmered in the light. Isabella's heart raced as they approached, the chest drawing them in with an irresistible allure. It was as if the artifact itself was calling to them, its power palpable in the air. With trembling hands, Marco reached for the chest, his fingers brushing the cool metal. The lock clicked open with a soft sigh, and together they lifted the lid, revealing the relic within. It was a simple object, unassuming in its design, yet radiating a presence that was almost tangible. Isabella felt a shiver run down her spine, the weight of history settling upon her shoulders. This was it, the culmination of their journey, the key to the secrets they had uncovered. As they stood in the heart of the Vatican, the relic before them and the book of secrets in their possession, Isabella and Marco knew that their lives would never be the same. The path before them was shrouded in mystery, but they were ready to face it, to unravel the truth that had been hidden for so long. In the silence of the chamber, the echoes of the past mingled with the promise of the future, a symphony of time and destiny waiting to be heard. And as they prepared to step into the unknown, Isabella and Marco knew that the greatest adventure of their lives was only just beginning. The air in the chamber seemed to hum with a resonance that was both ancient and new, as if the very stones of the Vatican were whispering secrets long forgotten. Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them, an acknowledgement of the weight of their discovery. The relic rested on a velvet cushion, its surface gleaming softly under the dim light, an artifact of indescribable beauty and power. Isabella reached out hesitantly, her fingers brushing the surface of the relic. It was a simple cross, wrought in an unremarkable metal, yet its simplicity belied its significance. The cross was etched with symbols that seemed to dance beneath her touch, an intricate language of spirals and lines that spoke directly to the soul. She could feel the energy pulsating from it, a rhythmic beat that synced with her own heartbeat, drawing her deeper into its enigma. Marco, standing beside her, could feel it too. He was a man of science, a scholar with a mind attuned to logic and reason, yet even he could not deny the aura of the relic. It was as if the cross held within it the essence of the ages, a distilled truth that transcended time and space. He studied the symbols, his mind racing to decipher their meaning, to connect them with the web of knowledge they had painstakingly woven over the past months. As he pondered, the room seemed to shift around them, the shadows lengthening and curling in upon themselves. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of anticipation, a feeling that something momentous was on the verge of being revealed. The relic was a key, but to what door? What secrets lay beyond, waiting to be uncovered by those daring enough to seek them? Isabella, sensing the urgency of the moment, turned to Marco. "We need to understand what these symbols mean," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the thrumming silence. "This could change everything." Marco nodded, his eyes fixed on the relic. "The book," he said, gesturing to the ancient tome they had carried with them on their journey. "It might hold the answers we need." The book was a treasure trove of knowledge, a compilation of mysteries and truths that had been carefully recorded and preserved. Its pages were filled with the wisdom of those who had come before, their insights and discoveries etched into the fabric of history. Marco opened it with reverence, the pages rustling softly as he searched for the passage that would illuminate their path. As he read, the symbols on the relic seemed to come alive, their meaning unfolding like the petals of a flower. They discovered that the cross was not merely an artifact of faith, but a map, a guide to a hidden chamber deep within the Vatican, a place where the most sacred and forbidden archives were kept. It was a revelation that sent a thrill of excitement coursing through them, a glimpse of the adventure that lay ahead. "The Chamber of Secrets," Isabella murmured, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's real." The chamber was said to contain documents and relics of immense power, knowledge that had been deemed too dangerous for the world to know. It was a place that had been shrouded in myth and legend, its existence denied and its location concealed. But now, they held the key, the means to unlock the secrets that had been hidden for centuries. Their path was clear, but the journey would not be easy. The Vatican was a labyrinth of corridors and passageways, each one more intricate and obscure than the last. They would need to navigate its depths, to follow the clues that had been laid out before them, to tread carefully and remain vigilant. As they prepared to set out, Isabella felt a surge of determination. She had always been drawn to the past, to the stories and mysteries that lay buried beneath the surface of history. This was her chance to make a difference, to uncover the truth and bring it into the light. She glanced at Marco, her partner in this grand adventure, and saw the same determination mirrored in his eyes. Together, they left the chamber, the relic safely secured in Marco's satchel, the book clutched tightly in Isabella's hands. The corridors of the Vatican loomed around them, a twisting maze of stone and shadow. They moved with purpose, their steps echoing softly as they made their way deeper into the heart of the ancient city. The air was cool and still, the silence broken only by the distant murmur of tourists and pilgrims, unaware of the secrets that lay hidden beneath their feet. The Vatican was a place of contradictions, a sanctuary of faith and a fortress of secrets, a repository of knowledge and a keep of mysteries. It was a place where the past and present coexisted in a delicate balance, each one influencing and shaping the other. As they journeyed deeper, the corridors grew narrower, the light dimmer. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of anticipation, a feeling that they were on the brink of discovery. Isabella could feel her heart pounding in her chest, a mixture of excitement and trepidation filling her senses. The relic was guiding them, its presence a constant reminder of the task at hand. They reached a staircase, spiraling downward into the depths of the Vatican. The air grew cooler, the shadows darker, as they descended into the bowels of the ancient city. The staircase seemed to stretch on forever, each step taking them further from the world above and closer to the secrets that lay hidden below. Finally, they reached the bottom, stepping into a corridor lined with ancient stone. The air was thick with history, a palpable presence that seemed to seep from the walls. The corridor was lined with torches, their flames flickering softly, casting dancing shadows that seemed to whisper and move in the corners of their vision. At the end of the corridor, a door stood waiting, its surface carved with the same symbols that adorned the relic. It was a door that had been sealed for centuries, a gateway to the Chamber of Secrets. Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, their hearts racing with anticipation. This was it, the moment they had been waiting for. Marco stepped forward, the relic in his hands. He pressed it against the door, feeling the symbols align, the energy of the relic merging with the ancient lock. There was a moment of stillness, a breathless pause, and then the door swung open with a soft sigh, revealing the chamber beyond. The Chamber of Secrets was a place of wonder, a repository of knowledge and power that defied description. The walls were lined with shelves, each one filled with books and scrolls, relics and artifacts that glowed with an inner light. It was a treasure trove of history, a culmination of human knowledge and experience that had been carefully preserved and hidden. Isabella and Marco stepped inside, their eyes wide with awe. The chamber was a symphony of light and shadow, a dance of colors and shapes that seemed to shift and change with every step. It was a place where time stood still, where the past and present coalesced into a single moment of clarity. They moved through the chamber, their senses alive with the possibilities that lay before them. Each artifact, each book, was a story waiting to be told, a secret waiting to be uncovered. The chamber was a labyrinth of knowledge, a puzzle that begged to be solved. And as they delved deeper into the heart of the chamber, Isabella and Marco knew that their adventure was far from over. The secrets they had uncovered were just the beginning, a tantalizing glimpse of the mysteries that lay ahead. The Vatican's forbidden archives held the keys to the past, and they were determined to unlock every door, to unveil the truths that had been hidden for so long. In the silence of the chamber, the echoes of the past and the whispers of the future mingled, a chorus of voices and visions that beckoned them onward. And as they explored the depths of the Vatican's mysteries, Isabella and Marco knew that they were part of something greater than themselves, a journey that would change the course of history and illuminate the path forward for generations to come. The air within the chamber seemed to crackle with the anticipation of their presence, an ethereal hum that resonated with the very stones of the Vatican's foundation. It was as if the walls themselves held their breath, eager to reveal the secrets they had guarded for centuries. Isabella and Marco, bound by a shared purpose, felt an unspoken connection with this sacred space, as if they were the chosen stewards of its myriad tales. The light from their lanterns flickered gently, casting dancing shadows that leapt across the ancient texts and relics, creating a moving tapestry of light and darkness. This dance seemed to mimic the intricate interplay of truth and mystery that filled the room. Isabella's fingers grazed the spines of the books lining the shelves, her touch as reverent as that of a pilgrim seeking communion with the divine. Each tome was a vessel of forgotten wisdom, its pages whispering secrets in languages long lost to time. The scent of aged parchment and ink hung in the air, a heady perfume that spoke of history and the passage of time. Marco, meanwhile, was drawn to a series of scrolls, their edges frayed and delicate, like the wings of a moth caught in the folds of time. As they continued their exploration, they discovered a series of ornate chests, their surfaces adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to tell stories of their own. Marco knelt beside one, his hands tracing the intricate patterns with a sense of awe. He unfastened the latch, and the lid creaked open, revealing a collection of objects that gleamed in the dim light. Among them were golden coins, their surfaces etched with symbols that hinted at forgotten civilizations. There were fragments of pottery, their painted surfaces depicting scenes of myth and legend, and a delicate tiara, encrusted with gemstones that sparkled like stars captured in a net. Each artifact was a piece of a puzzle, a fragment of history that begged to be understood. Isabella's attention was drawn to a particular scroll, its surface inscribed with delicate calligraphy. The ink, though faded, retained its elegance, the letters flowing like water across the page. She began to read aloud, her voice a soft melody that filled the chamber. "The stars align, and the veil between worlds grows thin," she murmured, her voice tinged with wonder. "In the shadows of history, the truth awaits, hidden in the echoes of time." Marco, listening intently, felt a shiver run down his spine. The words seemed to resonate with a power of their own, as if the scroll were a conduit for something greater than itself. He could feel the weight of their journey pressing upon him, the sense that they were standing at the threshold of something monumental. As they delved deeper into the mysteries of the archives, Isabella and Marco found themselves drawn to a section of the chamber dedicated to celestial maps. The walls were adorned with intricate charts of the night sky, their surfaces alive with constellations and cosmic phenomena. It was a testament to the Vatican's enduring fascination with the heavens, a reminder that the quest for knowledge was as infinite as the universe itself. One map in particular caught Isabella's eye. It depicted an alignment of planets, their orbits intersecting in a configuration that seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. She traced the lines with her finger, her mind racing with the possibilities of what such an alignment could signify. Could this be a clue? She wondered aloud, her voice a soft echo in the stillness. A map to something greater, something beyond our understanding? Marco nodded, his gaze fixed on the celestial chart. Perhaps it's a guide, he mused, a way to navigate the labyrinth of secrets that the Vatican has guarded for so long. Their exploration was interrupted by a faint rustling sound, a whisper of movement that seemed to come from the shadows. Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, their senses on high alert. The air grew charged with a tension that was both thrilling and unsettling, as if the chamber itself were alive with unseen forces. They turned toward the source of the sound, their lanterns casting beams of light into the darkness. For a moment, they saw nothing but the familiar contours of the chamber. But then, a figure emerged from the shadows, their presence as unexpected as it was enigmatic. The stranger was clad in a robe of deep crimson, its fabric shimmering like liquid fire in the lantern light. Their face was obscured by a hood, casting their features in shadow. Yet there was an air of authority about them, a presence that commanded attention. Isabella and Marco tensed, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and curiosity. Who was this mysterious figure, and what was their purpose in the forbidden archives? The stranger raised a hand in a gesture of peace, their voice a low murmur that seemed to resonate with the very stones of the chamber. "Fear not," they intoned, their words carrying a weight of ancient wisdom. "I am a guardian of these secrets, a keeper of the knowledge that lies within." Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, their minds racing with questions. Who was this guardian, and how long had they been watching over the archives? What secrets did they hold, and what role did they play in the unfolding mystery? The guardian seemed to sense their unspoken questions, for they continued, their voice a gentle cadence that wrapped around them like a comforting shroud. The Vatican's archives are a tapestry of history, a web of stories that span the ages. It is my duty to protect these secrets, to ensure that they are passed down to those who are worthy. Marco stepped forward, his voice steady despite the uncertainty that clung to the air. "We seek the truth," he declared, his words a pledge and a promise. "We seek to understand the mysteries that have been hidden for so long." The guardian regarded them with an inscrutable gaze, their eyes gleaming with an inner light. "The path you have chosen is fraught with challenges," they warned, their tone both cautionary and encouraging. "But it is also a path of enlightenment, a journey that will lead you to the heart of the Vatican's greatest secrets." Isabella and Marco felt a sense of resolve settle over them, a quiet determination that burned within their hearts. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, filled with trials and revelations that would test their courage and their resolve. But they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, driven by the promise of uncovering the truths that had been hidden for so long. As they stood together in the chamber, the echoes of the past and the whispers of the future mingling around them, Isabella and Marco felt a sense of unity with the unseen forces that guided their path. They were part of a legacy that spanned the ages, a journey that would change the course of history and illuminate the path forward for generations to come. And with that knowledge, they stepped forward into the shadows, their hearts alight with the promise of discovery and the thrill of the unknown. The air inside the ancient corridors of the Vatican was thick with history, each stone echoing the whispers of countless souls who had once walked these halls. Isabella and Marco moved with purpose, their footsteps barely audible on the cold, polished marble. The ornate tapestries that adorned the walls seemed to watch them with eyes woven from threads of gold and crimson, as if aware of the monumental task the two had undertaken. Their guide, the enigmatic Father Luciano, led them deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the Vatican. His presence was at once reassuring and mysterious, a keeper of secrets whose own history was etched in the lines of his face. The dim light cast by the flickering torches danced across his features, creating shadows that seemed to shift and change, as if the very light conspired to reveal truths hidden in the dark. As they descended a spiral staircase carved from ancient stone, the air grew cooler and carried with it a scent of aged parchment and the faint, lingering aroma of incense. It was a scent that spoke of centuries past, of prayers whispered in solitude and the quiet rustle of pages turned by candlelight. At the bottom of the staircase, they arrived at a massive wooden door, bound with iron and marked by symbols whose meanings had been lost to time. Father Luciano paused, his hand resting gently on the door as if seeking permission from the spirits that guarded this sacred space. With a nod of silent assent, he pushed the door open, revealing the hallowed interior of the forbidden archives. The room was vast, its ceiling lost in shadow. Shelves upon shelves of ancient tomes stretched into infinity, each book a portal to a different era, a different world. The light from their torches flickered across the spines of these volumes, illuminating titles in Latin, Greek, and languages long forgotten by the modern world. Isabella felt a shiver of awe run down her spine. Here, in this hidden repository of knowledge, lay the secrets of the ages. Secrets that had been guarded fiercely, protected from the eyes of the world by those who feared their power. She could feel the weight of history pressing down upon her, a reminder of the responsibility she and Marco had taken upon themselves. Marco, too, was struck by the enormity of the task before them. The silence of the room was profound, broken only by the soft rustle of their clothing and the distant, echoing drip of water. He felt as though they had stepped into another realm, a place where time itself had paused to allow them passage. Father Luciano gestured for them to follow him deeper into the archives. "We must move with care," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "The knowledge contained here is both a blessing and a curse. Many have sought it, but few have been deemed worthy." They followed him through narrow aisles, their torches casting long shadows that writhed across the floor like living things. The air was filled with the scent of leather and ink, the whispered promise of stories untold. Isabella's fingers itched to touch the volumes that lined the shelves, to feel the weight of history in her hands. They reached a small alcove, lit by a single candle that flickered in the still air. On a pedestal at its center lay a book, its cover worn and faded, the edges of its pages gilded with gold leaf. Father Luciano stepped aside, allowing Isabella and Marco to approach. "This," he said, his voice reverent, "is the Liber Veritatis. The Book of Truths. It contains the knowledge that has been hidden for millennia, truths that could change the world if revealed." Isabella reached out, her fingers brushing the cover of the book. The leather was cool beneath her touch, the gilded edges glinting softly in the candlelight. A thrill of anticipation coursed through her, a sense of destiny fulfilled. With a deep breath, she opened the book, the pages whispering softly as they turned. The script was elegant, the ink dark and precise. As her eyes scanned the text, she felt a dizzying rush of understanding, as if the words were speaking directly to her soul. Marco leaned closer, his own curiosity piqued. The text was dense, filled with symbols and illustrations that defied immediate comprehension. But there was a beauty to it, a sense of order and purpose that resonated with him. Together, they began to read, their voices soft yet resonant in the hallowed silence. The words spoke of ancient prophecies and forgotten histories, of a world shaped by forces unseen and a destiny that could not be denied. It was a narrative both vast and intimate, a tapestry of human experience woven together with threads of divine intervention. As they read, the room seemed to come alive around them. The shadows deepened, the air thrumming with a palpable energy. Isabella could feel the presence of those who had come before, their spirits lingering in the corners of the room, watching with silent approval. The pages turned, revealing secrets that had been buried for centuries. There were tales of lost civilizations, of knowledge preserved in sacred texts and artifacts hidden away in the farthest reaches of the world. There were stories of betrayal and redemption, of love that transcended time and space. With each revelation, Isabella and Marco felt the weight of their quest grow heavier, the stakes higher. They were no longer simply seekers of knowledge. They were custodians of truths that could alter the course of history. The responsibility was immense, but so too was the potential for enlightenment. Hours passed, marked only by the slow burn of the candle and the gentle rustle of pages. The world outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the three of them in a cocoon of discovery and revelation. Finally, as the candle guttered low, Father Luciano spoke. His voice was gentle, yet imbued with a quiet authority. "You have seen what lies within. The knowledge you now possess is a gift, but it is also a burden. How you choose to use it will shape the future, not only for yourselves but for all who come after." Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, their eyes reflecting the same mixture of wonder and determination. They had embarked on this journey seeking answers, and in the heart of the Vatican's forbidden archives, they had found them. But with knowledge came responsibility, and they knew that the path ahead would require both courage and wisdom. As they closed the book and prepared to leave, Isabella felt a sense of peace settle over her. The journey was far from over, but she knew they would face whatever challenges lay ahead with strength and unity. The secrets of the Vatican had been unveiled, and with them, the promise of a brighter, more enlightened future. Together, they stepped back into the shadows, their hearts alight with the promise of discovery and the thrill of the unknown, ready to embrace the destiny that awaited them beyond the walls of the forbidden archives. The dim glow of ancient sconces guided their steps as Isabella and Marco retraced their path through the labyrinthine corridors of the Vatican's innermost sanctum. The air was thick with the scent of aged parchment and the echoes of whispered prayers, a tapestry of the centuries woven into the very stone around them. Each footfall was a reminder of the weight of history they carried, and yet, they felt buoyed by a newfound sense of purpose. As they wound their way through the narrow passages, the ambient silence was punctuated by the distant tolling of a bell, its sonorous chimes resonating through the hallowed halls. It was as if the Vatican itself was acknowledging the revelation they had unearthed, a celestial nod to their clandestine exploration. Isabella's fingers brushed against the cool, solid walls, grounding her in the present as her mind danced with the possibilities of the future. Marco walked beside her, his thoughts a whirlpool of questions and plans. The knowledge they had uncovered was both a beacon and a burden, illuminating the path ahead while casting long shadows of uncertainty. He glanced at Isabella, her face serene yet resolute, and felt a surge of gratitude for her unwavering presence. Together, they were a force of nature, an unstoppable tide fueled by curiosity and conviction. Their journey through the archives had been a revelation, each page turned revealing secrets long buried, truths concealed beneath layers of dogma and tradition. The documents they had studied painted a portrait of humanity at its most divine and its most fallible, a testament to the duality of the human soul. As they approached the exit, Marco couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery was but the beginning of a much larger story. They paused at the threshold of the archives, the heavy door looming before them like a guardian of untold mysteries. Isabella turned to Marco, her eyes alight with an inner fire. "We must be careful," she said softly, her voice a melody of caution and excitement. "The world is not ready for this knowledge, not yet. We must find a way to reveal it that brings understanding, not chaos." Marco nodded, his mind racing with the implications of her words. "We need allies," he mused, "people who can help us navigate the complexities of this revelation. Scholars, historians, those who can lend credibility to our findings." Isabella smiled, a flicker of mischief dancing in her eyes. "And perhaps a few unexpected friends," she added, thinking of the network of individuals they had encountered along their journey, those who operated in the shadows but wielded considerable influence. With a shared look of determination, they pushed open the door and stepped into the broader corridors of the Vatican. The transition from the cloistered archive to the more public spaces was marked by a palpable change in atmosphere. Here, the air was alive with the hum of daily life, the rhythms of faith and duty interwoven with the quiet strength of tradition. The Vatican was a living entity, its walls a repository of both the sacred and the mundane. As Isabella and Marco made their way toward the exit, They passed priests engaged in fervent discussion, nuns moving with quiet purpose, and visitors from every corner of the globe, each seeking their own form of enlightenment. As they navigated the steady stream of humanity, Isabella's thoughts drifted to the ancient prophecy they had uncovered, a cryptic verse that spoke of a time when the hidden would be revealed and the truth would set the world alight. The words had resonated with her, a symphony of destiny that echoed in her heart. She knew that their journey was far from over, that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges and choices that would test their resolve. They emerged into the open air, the sun casting its golden glow over the majestic architecture of St. Peter's Square. The sight was breathtaking, a testament to the enduring power of faith and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Isabella paused, taking a deep breath as the warmth of the sun enveloped her, a stark contrast to the cool confines of the archives. Marco stood beside her, his gaze sweeping over the bustling square. "It's beautiful," he murmured, his voice filled with reverence. "To think that all of this," he gestured to the grand basilica, "the throngs of people, is built upon centuries of secrets." Isabella nodded, her heart swelling with a sense of awe and responsibility. "And now we are a part of that legacy," she replied, her voice steady and sure. "We must honor it, protect it, and find a way to share it with the world." As they moved through the square, their minds were a tapestry of plans and possibilities, each thread woven with care and intention. They knew that their journey would take them far beyond the walls of the Vatican, into a world eager for change yet wary of the unknown. It would require diplomacy, courage, and an unyielding commitment to the truth. Deep in thought, they almost didn't notice the figure that approached them, a shadow among the crowd. It was a woman, her features obscured by a wide-brimmed hat and dark glasses. Her movements were fluid, purposeful, as she slipped through the throng with the ease of one well-versed in the art of anonymity. She stopped before them, her presence commanding despite her nondescript appearance. "Isabella, Marco," she said, her voice a soft, musical lilt that hinted at origins far from this ancient city. "I have been expecting you." Surprised, they exchanged a glance, curiosity piqued. "Who are you?" Marco asked, his tone cautious yet intrigued. The woman smiled, a knowing curve of her lips that suggested she held secrets of her own. "A friend," she replied cryptically. "One who shares your desire for the truth. There are those who would see the knowledge you possess buried once more, hidden from the light. I am here to ensure that does not happen." Isabella studied the woman, her instincts telling her that this was no mere coincidence. "And how do we know we can trust you?" she asked, her voice a blend of skepticism and hope. The woman's smile widened, a glimmer of amusement in her eyes. "Trust is earned, not given," she said simply. "But know this. The path you tread is fraught with danger, and allies will be few and far between. I can offer guidance, resources, and protection, should you choose to accept my help." Marco considered her words, weighing the risks and the potential benefits. He had learned to trust his instincts, and something about this mysterious stranger resonated with him, a whisper of destiny woven into the fabric of their journey. Isabella, too, felt the pull of something greater, a sense that this encounter was meant to be. She nodded slowly, her decision made. "We accept," she said, her voice firm and resolute. "Show us the way." The woman inclined her head, a gesture of acknowledgement and respect. "Very well," she said, her tone infused with quiet assurance. "There is much to discuss, and time is of the essence. Follow me." With that, she turned and began to weave her way through the crowd, Isabella and Marco falling into step behind her. As they moved, the world around them seemed to blur, the sounds and sights of the square fading into the background as they embarked on the next chapter of their journey. Together, they stepped into the unknown, their hearts alight with the promise of discovery and the thrill of the adventure that awaited them beyond the shadows of the Vatican. The night air was thick with anticipation, a velvet cloak draped over the city as they followed the mysterious woman through the winding streets of Rome. The cobblestones beneath their feet echoed with the soft patter of distant footsteps, a symphony of whispers in the night. Street lamps cast pools of golden light, their glow pooling like liquid amber on the ancient stones, guiding their path through the labyrinthine alleyways. As they moved deeper into the heart of the city, the hustle and bustle of the day seemed to recede, leaving behind a serene quietude that was almost otherworldly. The woman led them with a surety that spoke of someone intimately familiar with these secretive routes, her silhouette a shadowy guide in the darkness. There was a grace in her movements, an assurance that belied the gravity of their mission. Isabella felt a thrill of anticipation coursing through her veins, the weight of countless secrets pressing in from all sides. The Vatican had always been a place shrouded in mystery, its ancient walls a fortress of hidden knowledge and untold stories. She could feel the pulse of history beneath her feet, the very ground steeped in the whispers of the past. Marco, too, was captivated by the journey, his mind racing with possibilities and questions. Who was this woman who had so easily captured their trust? What secrets lay hidden within the hallowed halls of the Vatican, waiting to be unveiled? His heart beat in time with their footsteps, a steady rhythm that echoed the suspenseful cadence of their quest. As they neared their destination, the woman paused, turning to face them with eyes that seemed to hold the weight of centuries. "We are close," she said, her voice a gentle murmur that blended with the night. "What you are about to witness is a privilege granted to few. The archives hold many truths, some of which may challenge your understanding of the world." Isabella nodded, her resolve unshaken. "We are ready," she replied, her voice steady and unwavering. The anticipation was a living thing between them, a tangible force that bound them together in their shared purpose. The woman led them to a narrow doorway, almost hidden from view, its wooden surface weathered by time. She produced a key from the folds of her cloak, its metal gleaming in the dim light as she inserted it into the lock. With a soft click, the door swung open, revealing a narrow staircase that spiraled down into the depths below. The air was cool and damp as they descended, the stone walls close and confining. The steps seemed to go on forever, a descent into the bowels of the earth, each step a surrender to the allure of the unknown. The only sound was the soft shuffle of their feet, a hushed chorus that accompanied their silent descent. Finally, they reached the bottom, the passageway opening into a cavernous chamber lined with towering shelves that stretched up into the darkness above. The air was thick with the scent of aged parchment and leather, a heady aroma that spoke of forgotten stories and ancient wisdom. Isabella and Marco gazed around in awe, their eyes wide with wonder at the sheer magnitude of the collection before them. The woman moved with purpose, leading them deeper into the archives, her hands brushing lightly against the spines of the countless volumes that lined the shelves. The Vatican archives are a repository of knowledge, a sanctuary for the truths and mysteries of our world, she explained, her voice barely more than a whisper. "Here, you will find the answers you seek, but you must tread carefully. Some truths are not meant to be uncovered." They followed her through the maze of books and scrolls, the shadows dancing around them like specters of the past. Each turn revealed new treasures, relics of civilizations long gone, their secrets preserved for those daring enough to seek them out. At last, they came to a halt before an ornate wooden table, its surface covered with a rich tapestry of documents and artifacts. The woman gestured for them to sit, her expression grave and earnest. "This is where your journey truly begins," she said, her eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight that illuminated the chamber. "You must choose wisely what you seek to discover, for the knowledge contained within these walls is both a gift and a burden." Isabella and Marco exchanged a glance, their hearts racing with the weight of the decision before them. The room was silent, the only sound the soft rustle of parchment as the woman laid out a selection of documents before them. With a sense of reverence, Isabella reached out to touch the fragile pages, her fingers tracing the delicate script that adorned them. Each word was a key to a world long forgotten, a fragment of history waiting to be uncovered. She could feel the pulse of the past beneath her fingertips, a living thing that called to her with a siren's song. Marco, too, was captivated by the possibilities spread out before them, His mind raced with questions, each one a thread in the intricate tapestry of their journey. He could feel the weight of the secrets around them, the promise of revelation hanging heavy in the air. Together, they began to sift through the documents, their eyes scanning the pages for clues and insights. The room seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them and the stories that unfolded before them, a tapestry of intrigue and discovery woven from the threads of time. As they delved deeper into the archives, the sense of suspense grew, the shadows around them whispering of untold mysteries and forgotten truths. Each document they uncovered was a piece of a greater puzzle, a tantalizing glimpse into the hidden history of the world. The woman watched them in silence, her presence a steady anchor in the sea of uncertainty that surrounded them. She knew the power of the knowledge contained within these walls, the potential it held to change the course of their journey and the world beyond. Isabella and Marco felt the weight of her gaze, the unspoken challenge in her eyes. They knew that their quest was far from over, that the secrets they sought to uncover would demand courage and resolve. But they were ready, their hearts alight with the promise of discovery and the thrill of the adventure that lay ahead. Together, they continued their journey into the heart of the Vatican archives, their spirits undaunted by the shadows that surrounded them. The night stretched on, a canvas of stars above and the promise of new horizons waiting to be explored. As the hours slipped by, the air within the ancient halls seemed to hum with an energy all its own, as if the very stones were whispering tales of the ages. Isabella and Marco moved with a newfound determination, each step echoing with purpose as they delved deeper into the labyrinth of knowledge. The woman, a silent guardian of these secrets, watched as they pieced together fragments of history long buried beneath the sands of time. Her eyes, wise and knowing, held a quiet approval, a testament to the timeless bond between seeker and guide. In the flickering candlelight, Isabella uncovered a scroll adorned with intricate symbols, its parchment fragile yet resilient. She unrolled it carefully, her breath catching as the ancient script danced before her eyes. Marco leaned in, his curiosity piqued, and together they deciphered the tale of a lost civilization, a story of creation and collapse, of dreams forgotten and dreams reborn. As the final piece of the puzzle fell into place, a sense of profound understanding washed over them. The knowledge they had uncovered was not merely an echo of the past, but a beacon for the future, a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring quest for truth. The woman approached, her presence a gentle reassurance. "You've done well," she murmured, her voice a soft melody in the quiet. "Remember, the journey is never truly over. Each discovery is but a stepping stone to the next." Isabella and Marco nodded, their hearts swelling with gratitude and resolve. They had come seeking answers, but they had found something far greater, a connection to the tapestry of life itself, woven with threads of mystery and wonder. As they emerged from the depths of the archives, the first light of dawn kissed the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and rose. The city stirred to life, the promise of a new day unfolding before them. With renewed purpose, they stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The world was vast and full of secrets still to be uncovered, and they were but humble travelers on an endless journey. And so, beneath the awakening sky, Isabella and Marco set forth, their hearts bound by a shared dream and the eternal quest for knowledge. The path stretched endlessly before them, a testament to the beauty and mystery of the world, and they welcomed it with open arms, eager to write the next chapter of their story. As they walked side by side, the cobblestones beneath their feet seemed to hum with the energy of the city awakening around them. Each step was a reminder of the journey they had undertaken, of the whispers of ancient tomes and the quiet revelations that had reshaped their understanding of the world. The streets were awash with the gentle hustle of morning life, vendors arranging their stalls, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, and the soft murmur of conversation as people greeted the day. It was a symphony of beginnings, a chorus of possibilities that mirrored their own newfound resolve. Isabella glanced at Marco, her eyes reflecting the morning light. "Do you think we'll ever find all the answers?" she asked, her voice a soft melody against the backdrop of the awakening city. Marco smiled, a quiet confidence in his gaze. Perhaps not all, but enough to keep us searching. The beauty lies in the journey, not the destination. With those words, they continued forward, their spirits buoyed by the boundless curiosity that had brought them together. The city, with its labyrinth of secrets and wonders, was but a canvas for their exploration, a living testament to the stories yet untold. As the sun climbed higher, casting its golden glow over the world, Isabella and Marco knew that their journey was just beginning. The road ahead was uncertain, but they embraced it with open hearts and minds, ready to uncover the magic hidden in every shadow and the wisdom nestled within each new dawn. And so, with the city as their witness and the horizon as their guide, they walked onward, hand in hand, weaving their own tale into the endless tapestry of time, where every ending was but a new beginning, and every answer a doorway to deeper mysteries. The city slowly awoke around them, its vibrant energy a symphony of life and possibility. Each step they took resonated with the rhythm of their shared dreams and aspirations, the world unfurling before them like a story written in the language of the stars. Their path wound through bustling marketplaces, where the aroma of freshly baked bread mingled with the scent of blooming flowers, and through quiet alleys where whispers of history lingered in the cool shadows. With every turn, they found a new chapter waiting to be explored, a new piece of the puzzle that was their shared existence. As the day wore on, the sky painted itself with hues of amber and rose, a reminder of the cyclical nature of time. Isabella and Marco paused on a hill overlooking the city, their eyes tracing the skyline that had become so dear to them. The towers and spires reached upward, as if seeking to touch the infinite, much like their own spirits yearned for the unknown. In that quiet moment, they exchanged a glance filled with unspoken understanding. They didn't need to voice their thoughts, for the silence between them was rich with meaning. The city had taught them that life was not just about finding answers, but about cherishing the questions that propelled them forward. As the first stars appeared, twinkling like distant beacons, they turned away from the panorama to continue their journey, the path now illuminated by the gentle glow of the moon. The world around them was a living, breathing testament to the beauty of the unknown, and they were part of its endless dance. Together, they ventured into the night, their hearts light with the knowledge that every step was a thread in the tapestry of their story, each moment a brushstroke on the canvas of life. And though the future was a mystery, they faced it with courage and wonder, knowing that the greatest adventures were yet to come, nestled in the promise of tomorrow's dawn. As they walked side by side, the rhythmic crunch of their footsteps on the gravel path harmonized with the gentle whisper of the night breeze. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine and distant pine, a reminder of the ever-changing seasons that marked their journey. Their thoughts danced between memories of the past and dreams of the future, weaving a delicate tapestry of hope and reflection. They spoke occasionally, their words like soft ripples on the surface of a still pond, each one expanding outward to touch the edges of their shared reality. The laughter they shared echoed softly in the cool night air, a melody of joy that blended seamlessly with the nocturnal symphony around them. The moon, a silent guardian, watched over them, casting its silver light on the path ahead. It seemed to guide them, not just with its luminescence, but with a gentle reminder that life, much like the moon, waxes and wanes, offering moments of both brilliance and shadow. They embraced this duality, understanding that the beauty of their journey lay in its unpredictability. As the night deepened, they paused once more, standing at the edge of a small, tranquil lake. The water mirrored the sky, a vast expanse of shimmering stars that seemed to stretch into infinity. They marveled at the reflection, realizing that just as the stars above were endless, so too were the possibilities that lay before them. In that quiet moment by the water's edge, they found solace in each other's presence, a profound connection that needed no words. Their hearts beat in unison, a silent vow to face whatever lay ahead with resilience and grace. The night enfolded them in its gentle embrace, a comforting cloak of mystery and promise. With a final, lingering glance at the starlit sky, they continued on their journey, hand in hand. Each step was a testament to their courage, a forward motion into the unknown, where the magic of possibility awaited. And as they disappeared into the velvet darkness, the world around them seemed to whisper in agreement, cradling their dreams in its timeless embrace. Thus, they walked into the night, leaving behind the echoes of their laughter and the soft imprint of their footsteps, knowing that the story of their lives was still being written, one beautiful, uncertain chapter at a time. As they ventured further into the night, the landscape transformed around them, the shadows shifting and reshaping with every step. The air was imbued with the scent of blooming jasmine, a fragrant promise of the dawn yet to come. Time seemed to stretch and fold, the past and future intertwining in the present moment, making it eternal. The path beneath their feet was a tapestry of moonlight and shadow, guiding them forward with an ethereal glow. They walked silently, each absorbed in their own thoughts yet attuned to the other's presence. It was a symphony of quiet understanding, a melody only they could hear. The journey was as much internal as it was external. With each step, they shed the weight of old fears and doubts, embracing the lightness of newfound hope. They were explorers of the soul, navigating the vast expanse of their own hearts, seeking the treasures hidden within. As the first light of dawn began to brush the horizon with hues of pink and gold, they paused on a hilltop, overlooking the awakening world. The sun, a brilliant orb of fire, rose steadily, casting its warm glow over the land, banishing the remnants of night. It was a moment of rebirth, the promise of a new day unfurling before them like a delicate petal opening to the sun. In that serene silence, with the world at their feet and the sky stretching infinitely above, they understood that the end of one journey was merely the beginning of another. Life, in its infinite wisdom, was a series of cycles, each ending a prelude to a new beginning. With hearts full of gratitude and eyes bright with the promise of the future, they turned to each other, smiles playing on their lips. Together, they took the first step into the new day, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The world was vast and filled with wonder, and they were part of its grand, unfolding story. Thus, they walked on, leaving behind not just a trail but a legacy of love and courage, an indelible mark on the tapestry of time, far from over, and the pages of their story awaited the touch of their dreams, ready to be written with the ink of their hearts.